Level 1. The student. You are 22 years old, and you chose law school the way most people choose law school. Process of elimination. And the belief that being good at arguing means something professionally. You scored well on the LSAT, well enough to get into a school with a name that opens doors. You take out $180,000 in loans without fully processing what that number means, because the number is too large to process and the decision is already made. First year is designed to break you. The Socratic method in a lecture hall, where a professor cold calls you on 200 pages you read last night and then dismantles every answer you give. Not because your answers are wrong, but because the method requires dismantling. You learn to think on your feet while being publicly uncomfortable. That skill will be worth more than anything else law school teaches you. You don't know that yet. You just know your heart rate spikes every time a professor scans the room. You make law review. You work on moot court. You interview at firms during second year in a process called on-campus recruiting that compresses the entire arc of professional evaluation into 2 days of 15-minute conversations in hotel rooms where everyone is wearing the same suit and performing the same version of confident and prepared. You get an offer, one firm, one summer. That is enough. Level 2, the summer associate, 10 weeks. The firm pays you $4,000 a week, which is more money than you have ever made, to do work that is carefully designed to be interesting and manageable and nothing like what the actual job is. You go to dinners and baseball games and cooking classes sponsored by practice groups trying to recruit you. You write memos that partners read and compliment, without telling you what was wrong with them. You are being evaluated constantly by people who are very good at not appearing to evaluate you. You get the offer at the end of the summer, a full-time associate position starting the following fall. You accept it in the room where they offer it because declining would require an explanation you don't have. You go home and your friends take you out to celebrate, and you drink more than you should and feel something underneath the celebration that you dismiss as nerves. Level 3, the first year. You start in September. The work is real now. No one is managing your experience. No one is making sure you're having a good time. You are billing hours, and the hours are the only currency that matters in this building, and you need 2,000 of them by December 31st, and it is already October. You work on a document review for a litigation matter. Hundreds of thousands of emails, reading each one for relevance and privilege, logging your findings in a system that tracks your output per hour. You do this for 3 weeks. It is the most tedious work of your life, and you do it with complete attention, because the one email you miss could be the one that matters. And the one that matters could be the one that determines the outcome. And the outcome involves a client who is paying this firm $900 an hour for the aggregate of everyone's effort, including yours. You bill 2,300 hours your first year. That sounds like a number. Divided by 52 weeks, it is 44 billable hours weekly, which requires 60 hours in the office because not every hour worked is an hour billed. You are in the office before 8 and rarely home before 9, and your weekends are measured in the work you didn't finish Friday. You cancel plans so often, your friends stop making them with you. You tell yourself it's temporary. Every first-year associate tells themselves that. Level 4, the associate. You learn the work, the actual work, not the performance of it. You learn to read a contract and find the clause that will matter in 3 years when the relationship breaks down. You learn to build an argument that accounts for the counter-argument before the counter-argument exists. You learn that law is not about being right. It is about being more persuasive than the other side, and documenting that persuasion in language precise enough to survive appeal. Partners start asking for you specifically. That is the signal that separates the associates who will advance from the ones who won't. You are reliable. You are thorough. You respond to emails at 11 p.m. without being asked to. That last quality is not something to be proud of. It is something the firm depends on and that you provide because the alternative feels worse than the cost. Level 5, the senior associate. 6 years in, you manage junior associates now. You assign work, review their product, send it back with comments in the margins that are direct, because you don't have time for indirect. You remember being on the receiving end of those comments. You try to be honest without being cruel. You don't always succeed. The hours don't leave room for the version of yourself you prefer. The partnership decision is coming. Everyone knows when it's coming and nobody discusses it directly. You watch senior associates in their 7th and 8th year, and you can tell by watching who is going to make it and who isn't. The ones who aren't know too. They start interviewing quietly. They leave for in-house positions at companies. They make more money and fewer hours, and they describe it as a lifestyle choice in a tone that contains other things. You want to make partner. You have wanted it since your first year. You are honest enough with yourself to admit that wanting it has cost you things you may not fully inventory for another decade. Level 6. The junior partner. Your name goes on the door in the smallest font. You have equity now, a percentage of the firm's profits. Not large, real. You have crossed the threshold that 80% of associates never cross, and the crossing of it feels significant for about 2 weeks before the new pressure arrives to replace the old pressure. You need clients. Not just good work on other partners matters, your own clients. Business you brought in. The firm tracks this number with the same precision. It tracks billable hours, and the number has a name. Origination credit. Your compensation is partly determined by work you generate and partly by work you do on matters originated by others, and the ratio between those two things shapes your trajectory from here forward. You take a client to dinner, you take 12 clients to dinner, you join boards and speak at conferences and write articles for publications your potential clients read. You are a lawyer who is also a salesperson, and the selling feels unnatural until it doesn't. And the moment it stops feeling unnatural is a moment you will think about later as a kind of crossing you didn't notice while it was happening. Level 7. The equity partner. You are 42 years old, and you earn more money than you once thought possible, and you have less time than you once thought survivable. Your client roster is real. Your reputation in your practice area is specific and earned. Opposing counsel knows your name before you enter the room. That knowledge changes the room. You win a case that takes 3 years and costs your client $14 million in fees and saves them $200 million in liability. You sit in a conference room after the verdict, and the client shakes your hand and says thank you, and you nod and feel something that isn't quite satisfaction, more like the end of a held breath. You drive home in the dark and eat something cold from the refrigerator, and your spouse is already asleep, and you stand in the kitchen alone and the house is quiet and the case is over, and tomorrow there is another one. Level 8. The Rainmaker. Your name generates business by existing. Clients come because other clients sent them. You refer work down to associates who will do what you once did, and you remember exactly what it cost, and you try to protect them from the worst of it and succeed partially. Level 9. The Named Partner. Your name is on the wall in the lobby. You walk past it every morning without looking at it because you stopped seeing it years ago. New associates walk past it and see it clearly. Some of them see it as a destination. You remember being that person. Level 10. The Legacy. You retire at 65. There is a dinner, speeches, a gift that is thoughtful and impersonal in the way that institutional gifts always are. You walk out of the building for the last time on a Thursday evening and stand on the sidewalk, and the city moves around you exactly as it always has, and you stand there for a moment longer than necessary before you get in the car. Somewhere in a hotel room right now, a two-year-old is in a 15-minute interview, performing confident and prepared, and wanting this more than they can explain. They have no idea what they're walking into. They'll figure it out. They always do. The cycle continues. Subscribe to stay with us. Every video is another level. And drop a comment below. Tell us what level you're at right now. We read every single one.